are like birds of a feather. What they share in common is that they are environmentally friendly, that they collectively represent solutions that are good for the environment. That's built in as part of the brand. It's not the end in itself, but the product is only 1/3 of the equation. The second one is that the process of making that product allows flexibility to scale up and down spatially and temporally, and that allows you to contextually customize the solutions to wherever it is, whether it's Arizona or whether it's Minnesota, it doesn't really matter. And that is where the process of making that product becomes a very important part. And the third one is that GeoStream has an integrated solution for the financial model that adapts to things. So it's not the traditional model of total install cost, operating cost. No, basically you know what you're getting, and it really holds up. So the tagline for the ads for GeoStream say you're getting the home of your dreams in the place of your dreams at the price of your dreams whenever, whatever. And then here's the catch. The financial model that I see for this breaks completely the traditional notion of buying the American dream. What you're really selling is the service of a home in a way that everybody can actually afford it. And by looking at the system on a nationwide level, you can create peaks and valleys, and what you look for is that sweet spot. So parts of the peaks you subsidize, so you're below market in the markets that pay the most. And for those that fall below that sweet zone, that excess can be used to elevate it. So what you're really looking is a range of a sweet spot that will make this the most economically sustainable, financially sound solution. So yes, I would like to see GeoStream, the revolution that...
The solution would be something that's very scalable, dependent on location, like talking about how to incorporate the sewage systems and the toilets and things like that, depending on where you are. Incorporate things that promote the sustainability and good things for the environment without adding costs, because that's something that's extremely scary for most people. And I think that that's something that cripples all these good things that we try to do, is the cost gets in the way. So if you can do that. And I think that what would be really, really neat is to actually take it, not just do it in the U.S., but as the business model moves, go into some place like Afghanistan and be able to take a module over there and give people structure who have never had structure before. That's something that we as Americans don't even seem to understand, that, you know, the small 1,000 square feet, there are people who live in a hut that's maybe 70. So, if that, and no toilet. But he's building green.
When we broke that model...
You have to break it. I mean, he basically broke it.
Okay.
Broke it. So, that's how... I don't
So,
know if
so the new president of A&M, yeah, we got lucky. And
right.
Venegas is...
And I guess the word came to me was, you know, live better, but then also it was live longer. So hopefully in people's minds you could see GeoStream as having, not only is it affordable, is it, you know, saving me cost and money, but we can build our first house, we can move into, or renting houses, we can move into our first homes. We can also go and travel and stay and be a part of that GeoStream family, you know, in retirement communities. So it's not on vacation, I guess. So it's not just a one thing. It's seen as a place and a way to have housing and shelter from rental units to retirement communities.
So I'm kind of living...
You're living longer now, Jose.
In a resort.
Yeah. Well, it's not just one thing to everyone. It could be, you know, you are a part of it here in your housing to, as you move through changes in your life and kids. You know, brought up earlier, we talked about staying in hotels. And
environments and being able to come in with a system where solutions can be applied that have both economic and environmental benefits. And I think from a tourism standpoint that GeoStream provides a solution to kind of an unobtrusive solution to unique environments that now are can be exploited in a good sense of providing access to environments that had too many disadvantages to being exploited before. And GeoStream would be a way of providing access to people to those environments that where they did not have access before. So, thank you.
My passion in participating in this, as Jose knows, because we've talked about it quite a bit, is affordable housing. And then I am really interested in urban, in sort of this suburban environment. I don't think it really builds communities, it just builds houses. And so what I'd like to see is sort of a transformation of affordable housing and infill redevelopment. And so what I can see is, I think when we do affordable housing, sort of the traditional model is building cheap stuff with cheap materials, and it's not, it's really not affordable when you think about it, because there's a lot of maintenance costs that go into it. There's a lot of, they're not energy efficient, so the month-to-month expenses on the family make it to be unaffordable housing. And so, quite frankly, most of the time what we see in affordable housing is that, you know, Habitat for Humanity is now old enough that when we talk about affordable housing, a lot of the people that have paid off their loans through Habitat immediately end up in a home equity loan. And so that's really not where we need to be. And so what I'd like to see GeoStream do is build environmentally conscious housing that is sustainable cost perspective. And we use that and use an infill model to redevelop communities so that there's a interaction that takes place and that it's walkable and all those things that we talk about with redevelopment.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to see us celebrating the fact that we're creating, but they're buying a process, and they're buying an ongoing operational idea. For instance, giving them resources to continue to live independently, live frugally in that dwelling, whatever it might be, whether it's a commercial or residential building. You're giving them access to a network of vendors of, say, furniture or...
I mean, truly successful companies have a couple of things in common. One, they have fairly large payrolls. Two, happy employees. Three, opportunities for growth and promotion. Four, competitors nibbling at the edges of their kilt every day. You know, they're fighting them off. And customers that are becoming more demanding. And I think probably, and this is critical, we are not explaining anything to a banker, but rather they're explaining it to the borrower. And that's a sea change. And as long as you're explaining it to a lender, you're not ready for prime time. But when the lender is explaining it to your customers, then you're there.
Thank you very much.
You know, we're all on the same kind of page here. I mean, when he's home, he's never had a house before, and he's now proud papa. He has something he can finally give to his family and continue on, because I see internationally how much these individuals are raped. You know, they don't have any opportunity. You know, very few opportunities they are given.